Welcome back to Arise Prime Time. I'm Charles Adeniyi. Now let's press pause and dig a bit deeper behind the headlines with the help of our analysts who will try to get a better understanding of the news and issues that have been discussed on this program tonight. And with me for the rest of the show is the Professor of Communications, Arise News Analyst and Deputy Dean of the Postgraduate School at Bayes University in Abuja, Professor Abiodun Adeniyi. Thank you very much indeed, Prof.
Thank you, Charles,
for coming in. Let's start with the party that wasn't here, of the front runners this evening. I mean, we had somebody speaking for the Labour Party, we had someone speaking for the PDP, but we didn't have the APC. And Mr. Tinubu of the APC addressing tens of thousands of supporters in a packed stadium today in Lagos. I understand it was quite a turnout.
Well, that's what we've been seeing, not just with the APC, with the PDP and Labour Party. They've all had good showings through the campaign, trying to get as much crowd as possible, because somehow the crowd is becoming a symbol of strength. You know, maybe theoretically, really, sometimes there might be a disparity between, you know, the number of crowd you're going to pull and the eventual number of voters you're going to get, you know, because, and there's also this argument that most of the political parties, or all of the political parties, actually shop from the same crowd market, you know. You find a group of people attending all rallies, you know, held, I mean, that each of the political parties is holding. So sometimes it may not be a pointer, but it's okay, it's gratifying, really, if it satisfies them at the level of giving them good feeling that the crowd is equal to the number of support they are going to get. Well, we cannot do anything about it. But what matters is the number of people that will vote at the end of the day. But again, do not forget that we've had a history of voter apathy in this country, and it's also a difficulty in the world over getting people to actually vote. You know, you see lots of enthusiasm in the build up to the election, but when the election day comes, only very few people will vote at the end of the day. We just hope that this is going to be better, especially when we're expecting a very close election. I heard you clearly when you read out the statistics. 93 million people are registered to vote, and 70-something million only collecting their PVCs. And at the end of the day, we may not get up to 30 million or thereabout, going by our history, turning out to vote. So it would be good if we have a lot more people participating in the election, particularly this time, so that we anticipate a clear election, but it will also be nice for us to see more people voting and for us to see a clearer picture of who the winner is going to be, the first runner-up and the second runner-up at the end of the day, so that at the end it could limit contestation. If the election is free, fair, and credible, INEC does well announcing the figures rightly. The chances or the potentials for contestants or parties contesting, challenging the election will be reduced, really. And if, peradventure, they still come out to challenge it, the world will be able to see that the challenge is probably just to fit into a pattern of political contestation, you know, where we still find it very difficult, you know, to greet the winner, you know, where people are still die-hearted about winning the election. And of course, where partisans still find it very difficult to be magnanimous in victory, and where losers still find it problematic to be gallant in defeat. You know, we just hope that we'll see a change overall this time.
And how much is this election going to be a fascinating test of these very powerful, wealthy, and older leader figures, Bola Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar, and their carefully sort of cultivated image of political strength, and whether they'll be eroded by those new forces of both politics, the youth, and the technologies of modern elections, not to mention the lack of naira that they seem to have no control over.
Yeah, so many things that you're packing into one, Charles. It's like, well, we're in strange, interesting times where we're seeing the increasing use of technology, and it's also interesting that INEC is injecting it into the election. But maybe we should also be careful, because it may not just end with BVAS. BVAS simply has a role to play in identification, in accreditation, and that is going to be different from the actual voting, and a different process with counting as well, and a different process with the rendition of results to the INEC server. So these processes have to be spick and span, as much as we expect the BVAS to be clean as well, the BVAS itself, the use of the BVAS to be clean. So all these things have to add up, not just with the beavers as the technology that we're injecting into this exercise. But again, coming to your question on age, I don't always believe that performance or capacity is a function of age. If we can see clearly that you are fit and as provided in the Constitution, but it helps really if looking at somebody and appreciating that the person is fit. And how do we do that? Maybe if you're a younger person, the ordinary assumption is that you are likely going to be fitter than the older person. But we have seen situations where an older person may also be stronger than the younger person. Remembering also that we're in a world of modern technology, where medical technology is also benefiting from the revolution in technology, and as a result, people are able to live longer, be given medical care, appropriate medical care. Around the world, in sophisticated democracies, we've seen old people, geriatrics, septuagenarians, octogenarians, calling the shot. The United States is an example. Nancy Pelosi just left as speaker, and of course she was 80. The president of the United States is 80, so it may not matter if you are fit, but it's all a different ballgame. But the context also matters. In our own context, the situation may be different. But what we should focus on is capacity and maybe issues. And we have seen how the politicians campaign. At some point, they concentrated on issues, but they deviated really, which is not unexpected. But the bottom line is that we're getting to the business end, and in another few days, we'll be going to the polls. Then we can be relieved of the strain and the stress and the drain that the campaign process sometimes descending into ill-temperedness. We can be relieved of that process, and overall, we should be able to heave a sigh of relief, so that the tension will not continue into the post-election stage, Charles.
Prof, thank you very much indeed. Professor Abiodun Adeniyi is a professor of communications, a Rise News analyst, and deputy dean of the postgraduate school at Bayes University in Abuja. Thank you very much. That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, bye-bye, and thank you for watching.